move forward towards our question and answer session. And there are a few questions you have already raised uh, in the previous Google form which we had shared with you. After that, in the activities section, I will cover one by one the questions. There are several questions by you, and I will put the mics all of you on. So whenever you need, you can just, whenever I will be taking the names and answering the questions, if there is something more you need to add or want to add, you can just unmute yourself and raise the question there. But let's proceed further. Okay, the question is that how long does buyback policy will be available? It will be available for lifetime. Yeah, you can definitely make agreements for 5 years, even more, or for few months. It will be upon you. For more detail on that, as the number has been already displayed to you, you can just call and we can discuss about it. Then the question is, please explain the mechanism through which waste decomposer pasteurizes straw. Okay, this question is about pasteurization. Actually, pasteurization is something there are different ways also other than heat treatment which can be done. For example, there is a way of lime pasteurization. Lime pasteurization is like you just need to add calcium hydroxide with the water. How does it pasteurize is that you need to submerge your substrate in the water with the lime, which we in India call chuna, and you can submerge it inside the water, and it will raise the pH level. It will raise the pH level substantially high for a short period of time, and that will definitely decrease the level of molds and competitive bacteria, etc., inside the water, and that will actually kind of pasteurize it. So that is one way, but I will always suggest you to go for heat. Heat is my favorite, and heat is very solid. It almost definitely kills all the organism, but there are different ways also. One of the, again, another ways, actually there are several ways which are already covered in the course, but if you're not in the course, then that's not a problem. I will explain it to you here. Decomposer method is that it is a culture. It is a culture on consortium of bacteria. These bacteria are positive or healthy for the mycelium, and what it does is, what is the mechanism is that it actually uh, first of all, let's understand what is the mechanism of the mycelium or the fungi. How do our mushrooms actually digest their food? By decomposing. What they do, they decompose the substrate by producing enzymes, and when we add the bacteria which is present inside the decomposers, they again decompose. They kind of decompose and ferment, so that actually helps the mycelium for further growing. And when it decomposes, it also kills other competent bacteria, fungi, etc. So in that way, it actually lowers the pathogen level. Hence we can say partial pasteurization happens. The method of waste decomposer is not 100% solid. You cannot rely on it forever, because you can say it's about 70% achievable. If you are making 100 bags, out of the 70 will be fine, 30 will have their infections in them. But waste decomposers, with our experiment, we have found it successful for milky mushroom. If you are growing milky mushroom or paddy straw mushroom, the success rate is around 90 to 95%. But for oyster mushroom, it's only about 70%. So in the ebook which you will be getting, there I will be giving you step by step manner how to prepare this culture, and the link you are asking for. Yeah, there are several fake links also. The culture which we have, after buying from the market itself, we have tested, and the best culture which we have been found. You can get this link from bmmushroom.com. The link will be again be in given to you in the ebook itself, so you can buy your waste decomposer. But I would suggest you to use that for milky mushroom only, or paddy straw. And if you want to try it for oyster mushroom, but always remember there will be chances of extra contaminations. And then the question is, how do you control the carbon dioxide levels? Simple. As I have already said, you need to control the carbon dioxide by opening the ventilation. Suppose the fruiting stage is here, and during fruiting stage you need low carbon dioxide. You need to just open your exhaust fan or just keep your window open. The excess CO2 inside of farm will again release out, and new air will come inside, so that will decrease the CO2 level. And other than that, you don't need to increase it willfully, because during the incubation stage, as already mentioned, the bags inside of which the mycelium will be releasing all the enzyme, it will naturally producing a lot of CO2. So you don't need to induce any CO2. But during fruiting, you need to just keep your farms open. Then the question is, what size of setup is needed to produce 100 kg of button mushrooms a week? For that, wait a minute. Okay, the question is 100 kg a week. You need around 1000 to 2000 square feet area if you need 100 kg button mushroom per week, because that is completely subjective, because it will again depend upon if your farm is high tech or it is kind of low tech. If your farm is high tech, then only 500 square meter area will be enough. That can sufficiently produce 100 kg of mushroom. The estimate is based on assumption that a yield of 20 to 40 kg of mushrooms will be produced per square meter of growing space, and the cropping cycle will be of around 8 weeks. But this is a subjective question, because the farm can be also small but height can be more, as these are vertical farming methods. So you can have more and more area in the upward vertical space, and you can have smaller space, but you can make your farm very height if you can manage that, and in that way you can have a lot more from very small area. So it is completely subjective. Okay, you need next question is, required deep indoor setup for cordyceps militaris. Cordyceps militaris, even though there is a hype in the market that this is such an expensive, but believe me, the setup is not such an hard and fast. You can have your some indoor farm. You can just install puff panel. The roof can be something which is quite kind of insulated. Always for mushroom cultivation which are high tech in nature like cordyceps, you can make farms which are insulated, not susceptible to the environmental changes easily. You need to maintain cold temperature for cordyceps, as I have already said. You can see here, and the cordyceps mushroom need, for initial days, it will need only for first 30 days it will need only 20-22 degrees Celsius. So at that time you won't need to switch on your air conditioner throughout. Even if you switch on your air conditioner for few hours a day, it will definitely maintain simple room temperature, and normal room temperature is quite manageable without even AC. But for fruiting stage, you need around 16 to 24 degrees Celsius or around 20 degrees Celsius consistently. Never ever increase the cordyceps farm temperature beyond 26 degree, otherwise it will burn. It can't withstand a high temperature of 26 degree and above. So for cordyceps mushroom, you can just install some air conditioner, and you will need to put your cordyceps mushroom jars. They are grown in jars only, so there is no need of external water spraying, etc. You just need to maintain temperature and natural humidity inside of the substrate will be enough. Make the bottles breathable so that there is sufficient air exchange in the room, and install LED bulbs. You just need to switch on your bulbs for 16 hours and then switch off it for next 8 hours. Just keep on doing that, rotating it. Within 60 days, your mushrooms will start growing. By the 70 days, 60 to 70 days, you will be able to harvest it. So cordyceps mushroom is quite easy, and once you have your setup ready, there is no further investment you need to do. Just you need to understand the basics principles which I have already explained. All the mushrooms can be grown by those 5 steps. Just need to focus on the substrate selection and farm management. The next question is, due to unavailability of straw in our location due to more convenient, I tried to practice growing oyster mushroom using sawdust as a substrate as first time grower, where I also add gypsum, gypsum tuna powder. But gypsum is not tuna powder. For clarification, let me say gypsum is actually uh, tuna powder is calcium hydroxide, and gypsum is sulfate, calcium sulfate. So gypsum is different. Tuna powder is gypsum. on the sawdust will drying the substrate and hang in the free place room, but colonization has not taken place even after 15 days is over. Now I don't know what where I have made mistake. I need some guide on using sawdust. uh, there can be few mistakes might have happened by you. If you have used sawdust for growing oyster mushroom, there is no problem, and there's no other hard and fast rule for growing oyster mushroom in sawdust. You can just select any variety of sawdust. There could be mistake during the sterilization process itself, because you need to sufficiently sterilize it, and I don't know how did you sterilize it. If you are here in the webinar right now live, you can switch on your mic using the unmute button, and you can explain. Either you heat treated it or just put the gypsum in the water, which method you had used. If there was any problem during the sterilization, that could have been a problem. Second, over excessive moisture. If the sawdust was not sufficiently dried, if the moisture was beyond 65%, then again that could cause a problem, a growth of mold. One thing you can do, you can just next time grab the sawdust in your hand and gently or hard, you can press it hard also, and just see if the water is coming out from, droplets are coming out from the fingers. If that's the case, that means the water is in excess of 65%, and then you need to wait. There should not be any water, excessive water inside the substrate, otherwise the mycelium won't take place and bacteria will come, and that can be again another problem. So even if your mic is not getting on right now, in future also you can directly call us and discuss your problem. And then the question is gypsum necessary to add in substrate? No, gypsum is not as necessary. Gypsum is only used in order to balance the water content in the substrate, and to make more room for air passage. Gypsum actually helps in quality, having maintaining better quality of the mushrooms and the substrate stabilization. But these are not necessary. Then the question is, I want to discuss marketing strategy and climate condition of every species. Definitely, I have already answered that. There will be several questions which we have already taken throughout the webinar, so that won't be a problem. You have got your answers already. And then the question about the cost and profit already answered. How much cost? The question about profit and cost is again subjective, but I have given you fair idea. You can expect 100 to 200% of return on your mushrooms within 2 months if you're growing basic varieties of mushroom. How do we sell this mushroom? Can we export it overseas? Yes. If you are already a member, of course, then you can just search in the BM mushroom community. There are leads, several leads for export as well. You can sell it to us or to any places wherever you are. Just search it in the community. How many gram of mushroom can we get per gram? Already answered. Okay, now I will take up the questions which have been asked in the webinar itself. Also, right now you can also put your questions. The webinar won't be held for long. It's already, we are reaching our end. So let's quickly answer the questions. Mr. Ranjan, Mr. Ranjan have asked the questions. I hope you guys can now turn on your mics. Whenever you need, feel free to turn on your mics, and we can have direct conversation also. But right now, let me answer questions one by one, and then after, then you can put your question directly. Okay. So Mr. Ranjan, आपका question है. Your question is, which mushroom cultivation is best for new grower? The answer is simple. Oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms are best. They're simple to grow. And again, after that, if the temperature is quite high, if it is summertime, then the next best mushroom is milky mushroom, because these mushrooms are easy to grow. You don't need any special practice. You don't need any machine. You can install any setup where you just cut your substrate and boil them thoroughly, and then after you can follow the methods as I have explained, and mix the substrate with the spawn, and mushrooms will be there. And then your next question is shiitake mushroom grow on any sawdust or any type of tree? No, they grow in most of the hardwoods only. The trees which have large broad leaves, the ebook which you will get today after the session, within 24 hours of the session, you will get it through WhatsApp and emails. In that, there will be specific trees, a exhaustive list of trees which are suitable for shiitake mushroom. But yes, other trees can also be tried, but if you grow only using those varieties of tree, the production will be much better. Basically, they don't grow on softwood. They grow in oak, maple, the trees which have hardwoods. Okay. Then the question from Mr. Pritam Shah. After I answer the question, then you will be able to switch on your mics one by one. Then we will discuss further. Next question from Mr. Pritam Shah is how to calculate CN ratio. Okay, carbon and nitrogen is again a good question. These are essential for different kind of ratio of substrate which are suitable for your mushroom species. Then next question is for better yield, do we need to add all the supplement that has been listed in the course? Okay, the first question is how to calculate CN ratio. There are devices which are available. You can also buy them online also, where you will be able to insert those things inside your substrate, and it will measure all the things including the pH, the carbon content, and the nitrogen content. But if you're a beginner, then you don't need to invest in such things. You can just follow the programs modules which are given step by step, and the carbon and nitrogen will naturally be there in certain quantities which won't hamper your growth. But for advanced level of growing, you can definitely buy those devices. Other than that, there is no other way you can without checking without the device. There is no way of telling how much nitrogen and carbon is there. For better yield, do we need to add all the supplements? No, that's not mandatory. First of all, supplements are something which we add to substrate in order to generate more yield. But one thing is important: supplements come with their own problems, because if you add more supplements, then there will be more chances of contaminations. So again, if you are a new grower and not having enough experience, just try using 1% of the supplement. Suppose you are trying to grow certain variety of mushroom and you want to add supplement. Let's take an example of supplement is a rice bran or wheat bran. Then add only 1%. Whatever, suppose there is 100 kilogram of substrate, then only add 1 kilogram of supplement. And in that manner, slow and steadily, if you see better result, then you can increase, but don't cross or reach 10% mark, because that's enough. And don't add all the supplement. There is nothing mandatory, and those are just for information, but slow and steadily you can try using all. And then the third question is how important is pH level for mushroom farming? How we maintain the necessary pH? PH is very essential in mushroom farming, certainly, because if the pH is not proper, then the growth we are having may be deformed. Certain times, if the pH is extremely acidic or extremely base, then it can start growing varieties of mold, etc. So always the better pH is basic. You don't need it much acidic, not basic. You can have it around neutral, a little bit of acidic. You can use any pH paper to measure it, or also devices are easily available. And to maintain necessary pH, there is a thumb rule. You can always use calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate uh, is CaCO3, or also known as chalk powder. You can add chalk powder with your substrate in around 1% weight. That will definitely balance the pH. If it is in excess, it will lower it. If it is in lower, it will balance it. So using the calcium carbonate is a good way of maintaining proper pH. And then the fourth question is, after using neem oil, mushroom is tasting bitter. Okay, how can it be avoided? There was a mistake in using neem oil actually. Never spray neem oil directly on fruiting body when it is bigger than the primordia stages. When mushrooms grow, first of all, pinheads will come. Before pinheads come, always use neem oil in the farm. You can spray neem oil in the soil, in the area of your farm, in the land, in the walls, in the from outside, from inside. The basic thing about neem oil is neem extract. Neem extract is a natural insecticide used in the mushroom farms in order to prevent any disease which are associated with pest flies, because they get repelled by the smell of this neem oil. So in order to avoid mushrooms getting bitter, is that just stop spraying on the mushroom bags altogether whenever the pinhead starts appearing. Just spray in the wall or in the farm land, etc., don't directly spray on the mushrooms. Okay, and if it's pinhead, still it won't suck in. But if the mushrooms are quite larger in size, and if you directly spray neem oil, then that definitely it will absorb the bitter taste, even though it's not harmful for human health, but taste won't be good. So don't directly spray on the mushroom. That's the way you can avoid making it bitter. Next question from Mr. Kalyan. Can you cover the varieties used in pharmaceutical sector? Yeah, in the pharmaceutical sector, few varieties you can note it down, or definitely the book will contain that list. So one is lion's mane. Even in Amazon, Flipkart, you can search in India. Most of the lion's mane capsules, the capsule is in high demand because it prevents dementia and Alzheimer disease. And for students and for any person who needs his brains to be more sharper, calm, even if you are having anxiety and stress, if you somebody just start taking capsules, one capsule a day of lion's mane, it has been proven your brain will become much calm. You won't have any stress. You will be able to take decisions easily because lion's mane are having two components, erinacines and herinacines. So these are proven things, and the pharmaceutical industries are just extracting these components using their labs and just making capsules and further medicines of varieties of synthetic nature and serving it to patients. So lion's mane mushroom is one of the mushrooms which we also should be having every day if you want to boost our brain. Then the Ganoderma mushroom is again something of very high in demand for pharmaceutical. Then the cordyceps, again that is used by pharmaceuticals. Not only pharmaceuticals, the cosmetic industry is also using mushrooms because extracts from mushrooms are used for making capsules of skin. They cure skin disease like pimple, etc. There are stretch mark remover creams available nowadays which only use mushroom fungi, mycelium only. So mushrooms have different things. You can also search in internet. You will get furniture made of mushrooms. The mycelium, the vegetative network of mushrooms itself are such hard and proper that they can be also used in making furniture and other things. So there are several scopes which are often used. But for mushrooms, these were the few basic list. But other mushrooms are also there like chaga, then most of the time you can see morel mushrooms. These mushrooms are having immense health benefits, but little difficult to produce in our farm. Chaga is almost impossible. Morel mushrooms you can grow, but they're advanced level of farming. And definitely, if for our course members, we will be adding our chapters in morels, which will definitely help you. And also we do provide cultures for these varieties of mushrooms. Even if you are not able to produce mushroom, and you can what you can do is you can just make a base of rice or something edible and just follow the process of spawn making and propagate your mushroom mycelium in that, and that can again be used as a great source of nutrition, because mushroom is just a fruiting part, but also the mycelium is also having a lot of nutrition. So several companies nowadays not only growing mushroom, they are also using the substrate and just mixing it up and making capsules and other supplemented products. So that's again a way you can generate your business. Okay, so next question is from Mr. Satish. Is there any certification required to cultivate medicinal mushrooms? Nowadays in India, there is nothing mandatory for cultivation of certification of medicinal mushrooms or any mushroom. All the mushrooms which are available to be grown throughout, as we have discussed, like shiitake, ganoderma, even though we call them medicinal mushroom, but they are not something in restricted zone which need to be produced only using medicinal certified practitioners. But yeah, definitely knowledge is required. And if you want some kind of certification for granting in loan, etc., then if you are our course student, we can provide to that. We have our FPC through which we do give our students their certified courses, which can be used by the farmers in order to give for their own certification, etc. But other than that, there is no need of that. But if you want to establish your medicinal mushroom unit, and you want to export it or make further things from it, then you definitely need your GST certificate, FSSI, these kind of basic things needed for mushroom or any business cultivation business. Those document will be required. But if you are selling simple dry mushrooms or fresh mushrooms, then you don't need any certificate. You can just start your business right now, because these are category of farming, and in India farmers have several kind of benefits of growing their products. They don't need to comply with a lot of documentation. Okay, then the question is from Mr. Satish, how the demand of medicinal mushroom in India is tremendous. In India, the demand is so high that 95% of the medicinal mushrooms are imported. Even today, if you try to buy it in our online marketplaces, definitely if you read the label, you will find made in China, made in Vietnam, Thailand. So in India, the demand is tremendous. But as I already told you in the beginning, the supply is very lacking. So because of lack of knowledge and awareness only, but demand is tremendous. The basic evident fact is that they are sold in very exorbitant price in India, medicinal mushrooms. Why? The first thing is that most of them are imported. It costs a lot. Secondly, why we do need to import it from China? Why not our local farmers to produce these mushrooms? In India, the climate and everything is quite adaptive and suitable. Here, the manpower is in rich, the resources, the natural things, whichever is required for mushrooms are rich. There are several funding and startup funds from government for the farming areas now right now available. So everyone can just start growing their own mushrooms and stop import thing which is happening in India. Okay, so there's a huge demand, but supply is quite minimal in India. How is the demand of cordyceps militaris in India? In India, cordyceps mushroom are in demand, and it is continuously expanding. 5 years back, the demand was very little, but nowadays people have becoming aware, especially of the COVID. After the COVID time, the cordyceps mushroom is generally used for immune boosting and basically for different kind of reactions like allergy. The people who are having allergic or susceptible to colds, they do consume. Actually, cordyceps mushroom is a synthetic variety developed in lab itself. Uh, the main variety is like the caterpillar, the cordyceps sinensis, which actually is a fungi. It makes the caterpillar its host, and when it infects the caterpillar, which are living in the underground of Nepal, Bhutan, and Himalayan areas, they just pop up and they die, and then the caterpillar mushrooms comes straight from their head. Those mushrooms are actually in quite high demand, and they cost around 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupees per kilogram. But the subvariant of Cordyceps militaris, which we are growing in India, the price of the Cordyceps mushroom militaris, which we grow in lab, will be determined by the presence of cordycepins present inside it. If the cordycepins, which is the main chemical component found in that Himalayan caterpillar mushroom, is matchable or in high, then the mushroom will definitely have good demand, and you can make your cordyceps militaris lab tested to prove the cordycepins inside of it, the quality of it. You can make capsules from it, and you can definitely tie up with the larger market players who are already having their markets, and you can supply them, or also you can establish your own brand. Nowadays, after the advent of internet, everybody can sell to anyone. Nobody can restrict anyone. You can offer them competitive price and good quality. Definitely you can get a share of the market. Plus the best thing is that day by day the market is getting higher. The demand is just still in the nascent stage. It's in very lower category, but the future prospect is quite bright because people are getting aware of these mushrooms, and it will definitely uh, okay. Mr. Ranjan says couldn't hear. Am I audible? Okay, okay. Sorry for that. Maybe because of network problem. You can just close the webinar again, rejoin if there is some network issue, and if still it persists, just let me know. Then the question is, you are selling the mushroom plastic bag which you shown in webinar. Yes, sir. The plastic bags are special for mushroom. These are PP. polypropylene bags. We do sell it, but you can also get it from your nearby market. I hope it's available. Just ask the supplier to make it. Don't sell HDPE plastic. Only use polypropylene plastics. The fact about PP bags for mushroom growing is that it can withstand high temperature. You can put those plastic bags inside your pressure cooker and just heat up. It won't melt. So it can withstand a lot of high temperature. So it has made really mushroom cultivation quite easier using the PP bags, and these are available in our website bmushroom.shop. And then the question from Apur Jain is: can straw pasteurized by lime be fed to cows after 3 flushes? Yeah, those only if you are using lime, and then you can just feed them. There's no problem because the lime will definitely lower the uh, increase the pH level. But once the mycelium starts growing in the substrate, it will destabilize all the components. Actually, the mushroom or the mycelium, the nature of it is that it naturally breaks down all the hard compounds in a thing. Like whatever we grow on mushrooms, they just break it down. The nature of it is that it breaks down. So naturally, they will break down all the components in the calcium hydroxide. You might have also heard in the news that nowadays scientists are using mushrooms or mycelium to clean the river, clean the water, clean the chemical toxins. Also in the Chernobyl nuclear plants, mushrooms are used to clean out the toxic radioactive components. So you can see mushrooms are highly sophisticated living beings which can really degrade anything which are not quite possible by other mechanisms. So mushrooms do know their way. They can break down complex chemicals and break them into simple elements, so they can be fed to cows. No problem with that. There won't be any trace. For oyster mushroom, do we need to maintain humidity during vegetative stage? No, don't need to give any vegetative uh, any humidity from outside. The humidity as it was maintained in the initial stage, 60 to 65% of the water inside the substrate, that will be sufficient. It will maintain its natural humidity during the incubation stage. Just during the fruiting stage we need to give. Other than that, during the incubation, don't do anything. If you add more humidity, then it will just start rotting. And then the question is, Anupam Batra says, please share the buyback price of all kinds of mushrooms. Depending upon varieties of mushroom, different varieties of mushroom and qualities, buyback facilities are there. Like for oyster mushrooms, it starts from 500 to 600, then 650. And for like shiitake, ganoderma, it can go from 1000, 1200. So different varieties of mushroom do command different prices. And again, it changes from 3 months to 3 months because of demand and supply gap. But since last 2 years, it has been only increasing. So after the webinar, you can just call us and we will discuss it further, whatever your requirement is. Okay. The next question from Shushanta Devnath is, when to make hole in bed of oyster mushroom? For oyster mushrooms, whenever you make during the process of inoculation itself, whenever you mix the spawn with your substrate, you need to make holes in the oyster mushroom bags. Not only oyster mushroom bags, all variety of mushroom bags needs air circulation. So if the mushroom PP bag you are using is not having natural air holes which can pass air from it, it is not having filter patches, then you need to make external holes. For a bag of around 15 to 18, you can make around 8 holes. And also there is another thing I would like to request you to add. You please always put a synthetic cotton or fiber cotton and cover those holes, because the fruiting bags which are having the substrate, the wet substrate is a good place which the mites and insect and flies love to hang around. So they will try to enter it and start laying their eggs there. So that will again infect our bags. So whenever you make holes in your mushroom bags, try to either cover it with a tape which is like breathable tape, and the doctor tapes which are available, which are not made with plastic but with paper, or you can just put your synthetic cotton inside of it. So oyster mushroom bags or whichever bags you make, whenever you mix the substrate with the spawn, at that very moment, just put those holes, okay, and again cover them. So next question is from Mr. Praveen. Website not opening. Okay, sir, just call on our numbers after the webinar. There might be some issue. I will I will guide you through that, but I will just share the screen with you. This is the website, the bmmushroom.shop. If possible, you can just after the webinar open in your web, open in your uh, Chrome or anything, whichever browser you use. Even after that, if it doesn't work, just let us know. Here, the section for spawn, you will get your spawns. Here, the available PP etc. here available. You can explore your gourmet mushrooms here. Okay. And then the question from Apoorv Jain, can mushrooms be dehydrated in a convection oven? Yeah, no problem. You can definitely dehydrate them in convection oven. And then Mr. Kalyan says, can you comment on ideal room size? Ideal room size, there is no ideal room size actually. You can grow mushroom in a 10 into 10 room also, or 200 square meter also, or 200 square foot size also, or also in a balcony or a very small area. But if you want to harvest in commercial size, then let's say it can be around 500 square meter, or it will just depend which variety of mushroom. Suppose you are growing a mushroom which is like cordyceps, then only 10 kilo of mushroom can fetch you a lot of money. But if you are trying to grow other variety of mushroom, suppose button, then you cannot just grow them in very small area, because it will need a lot of area, because button mushroom will need a separate area for composting yard and then processing. So it will actually depend. Then at that time you will need around 500 square meter area. So it will depend upon which variety of mushroom you want to grow, and any size can be enough, but it will depend upon how much you want to supply and how much your capacity is to grow every day. And then according to that, you can make your own ideal room. Mr. Darian, the question is, can we grow mushroom in room when fruiting time? Can we grow mushroom in room when fruiting time? I just couldn't understand the actual question you are meaning, but I'm guessing it that you are trying to say, can we keep incubating bags in the fruiting room itself or not? During the I will just put on the questions mics very soon, and you can just clarify on the question, Mr. Darian, and I will definitely answer that. Mr. Praveen Koshi, your question is, do we need any license to start any mushroom cultivation business, and are there any subsidies? Yes, I just told you, to start mushroom cultivation, you don't need anything. You don't need any license or whatever, because this is a farming, and in India any farmer can produce his own farm produce and he can sell it without any license. Other thing, if you're doing in other business, you will need a lot of license, but for mushroom there is tax free. Even if you want 1 crore rupees, you won't need to pay any tax. Even you don't need to pay any GST. Suppose you are selling 100 kilo of mushroom every day and gaining 20,000 rupees every day, still you won't be needed to pay any GST. So GST is 0%. Yet income tax is zero, because this is a farm produce. So they're quite possibilities are beyond. The profitability is really very good in mushrooms. Are there any government regulation to be followed? Yeah, definitely. Whenever you're growing mushroom, try to keep it very hygienic, because you're trying to sell a food, a product which is vegetable or something which is edible. You need to maintain at least the basic FSSI guidelines, even if you are not having those license right now. But FSI license says the thing and premises should be clean enough. You cannot use any banned chemicals, whatever is there. You cannot do anything which will harm the consumer of your product. So that's why I told you, always keep your hand thoroughly washed, maintain proper aesthetics and hygiene whenever you are farming your mushrooms. Till what time the harvesting can be done from single bag? A single bag can produce around 3 to 4 flushings, depending upon the cultivation environment and parameters you maintain and the spawn quality. If you get good quality spawns, as we do produce, we do supply good quality spawns of first generation. Similarly, if you make your own spawn, definitely you can get around 4 to 5 flushings as well. It will depend upon how much temperature and weather condition you are following, how well was your initial sterilization was, so that if there is no contamination throughout, you will get as much as 3 to 4 flushings. And flushings will come between 7 to 15 days gap. Okay, it will depend upon mushroom to mushroom. Then the question from Mr. Ram, is there any need of getting FSI certificate for growing mushroom and processing of mushroom? For growing mushroom, there is no need of FSSI, but if you are processing mushroom, suppose you are making pickle or you are making any biscuit, etc., then in order to sell them, As per regulatory guidelines, you need FSSI license. Basic FSSI license is quite easy. You can apply it on website of FSSI. You will get it within a week time. And definitely, if you want to ship it to other state, if your processed product is there, you want to ship those processed mushrooms in the other states than your own state, then you will need GST license as well. So two license you will need, GST and FSSI for processing, if you want to sell it to other state. How can we maintain temperature RH at particular level without increasing or decreasing? The question from Mr. Ram. You can maintain temperature if the farm is good enoughly insulated, if it is not letting the temperature fluctuate from outside. Definitely, most of the time what we have observed is the farm temperature increases drastically because the outer temperature from the sun actually increases the temperature inside of the farm. Hence, it is essential your farm is designed in such a way that it is either in shaded places or using the materials either naturally available, leaf, bamboo, tree, wood, whatever, or you can use insulated material like puff panel, which actually doesn't let the temperature drop or increase suddenly. Secondly, you can maintain using your definitely air conditioners which are commercially available. Third is that RH, relative humidity, is something you can maintain using humidifiers or foggers, installing them inside, and there are microcontrollers nowadays available. Also, you can get them from online, and you can connect them using your setup with the temperature controller and the relative humidity humidifier or fogger. So whenever the sensor detects that humidity or temperature is below or above certain point, it will just switch on your devices, and in that manner you can maintain constant temperature and uh, relative humidity. But even if it's not consistent, if it even fluctuates by 5 to 10 degree up and down, that won't be a problem for mushroom. They are quite suitable and adaptive to the changing nature. Question from Mr. Chandrakala. This all-in-one flagship will help for someone who want to grow mushroom for hobby or to grow one food. No, it will help everyone who want to grow it for hobby as well as who want to grow it for entrepreneurship. But the focus is for entrepreneurs only who want to actually scale up their mushrooms, not only grow only in the small setup. The flagship program is for those who want to establish their farm, maybe initially in small scale, but eventually want to cultivate in a larger scale and want full complete support from us continuously forever, and also marketing access, full detail for pest and disease management, the details for setup of farm, step by step details about all the varieties of mushroom. So this is for commercial and serious growers, but definitely not a problem for hobby growers, because eventually someone may be having good passion about hobby growing. They may start learning, and eventually in future they can also try it in commercial way. Apurv Jain's ask is in waste is decomposer slide there are two method of pasteurization, also two method of master culture preparation. Please clarify. Okay, the waste decomposer, we have mentioned two methods. Both the methods are same. Actually, there are several different methods followed by farmers. Those two methods has been found to be consistent with the quality of the cultures. So any one of the variety of the preparation of culture you can use, whichever it can be, anyone, because both have been found to be suitable. So according to your need and suitability, you can choose among both. Okay. And the question from Mr. Ram is, can we give spent substrate to cattle? If yes, means what's the benefit or impact? Yeah, definitely. You can give it. In fact, most of the farmers in the rural area, they do feed it to their goat and cow, because mycelium is something which is full of nutrition. As I already told you, not only mushroom, but the mycelium in itself are also a huge source of protein and fiber and essential micronutrients, which are essential for human body as well as the cattle's also. So as we cannot eat straw, etc., so why not cattle's? They will definitely have been found to be better their health. They become immunitively strong, they produce more, they gain weight according to their need, and they give better. Like for cow, they have been proven to be giving more milk, etc. So mycelium is good for them naturally. Also in the nature, whenever some animal gets sick, they try to search for mycelium of their need, and they have it. So those have been trained by nature itself, but we can feed them. Mr. Darian, can we pasteurize using pressure cooker or any other ways? Is it? Yeah, you can use pressure cooker also. You can just fill up the bottom of the pressure cooker and put some vessel with holes above it. As example for steam idli vessel or rice cooker or momo vessel, if you just know how it works, same functioning can be done using any pressure cooker that can be used for autoclaving, or you can use any drum of pitch or any chemical drum. You can just convert any vessel, and according to that you can use it for steam pasteurization. The question from Mr. Ranjan is, do we need to spray neem oil daily? If you are growing in commercial scale, then you can spray daily if there are pest and disease problem in your area. But if there is no visible sign of any fly, insect, etc., then you can spray it at least twice or thrice a day. There is no hard and fast rule in it. But spraying daily won't harm. It will actually keep all those pests and flies away from your farm. Mr. Prabhash Rai asks, I am very much new to mushroom farming. Kindly suggest some basic, please. Yes, sir. Throughout the webinar, I have explained the basic about mushroom cultivation, a lot about starting it from somewhere, but still there can be doubts regarding it. In order, please, there is a number in the screen you can see. Please, further you can WhatsApp and call us and let us know how much and in what way we can help you further. Mr. Abhishek, he asked is that I am Abhishek from Nepal. I am a producer of oyster mushroom. Will you please buy dry oyster mushroom? Okay, you are from Nepal. Yes, sir. We can buy from Nepal. Uh, Definitely, we can try to procure it from there. And also, we have good market demand from Nepal itself. We do get regular calls from Nepal for inquiring about mushrooms. We will try to connect you with them so that you don't need to supply it to India. But even if you still want to, we can definitely have it from you. Mr. Raja Gopi asks, is that market of cordyceps militaris in India and overseas? Already told, sir. And there's good market. Further, you can call us and let us know if you are having cordyceps. We can negotiate further. मिस्टर जगत आस्क 26 दिन हो गए हैं, पूरा बैग वाइट हो गया है बट मशरूम नहीं निकल रहा है. सर जगत जी, आप कौन सा वैरायटी का मशरूम उगा रहे हैं? अगर आप ओस्टर मशरूम उगा रहे हैं तो कृपया करके आप उसमें एयर सर्कुलेशन बढ़ा दीजिए. क्या होता है ना कि अगर हवा अच्छे से नहीं आता है फार्म में, तो फिर भी हमारा मशरूम जो है नहीं निकलता है. साथ में आप वाटर को स्प्रे कीजिए, पानी को डेली स्प्रे कीजिए. जैसे नाई हमारे बालों पे स्प्रे करता है, बस वैसा ही हमें दिन में 2 से 3 बार स्प्रे करना है अपने फार्म में, और हमारा मशरूम निकल जाएगा. अगर आप ऑयस्टर के बिना कोई और कर रहे हैं तो अभी जब मैं माइक ऑन कर दूंगा तब आप प्लीज मुझे बता सकते हैं. Mr. Vikas asks, can I get the racks with wheels for growing oyster mushroom? Yeah, that will be very good thing. If you get racks with wheels, you can definitely shift it from one place to another, and that will be very hassle free. In fact, most of the foreigners who are having this rack system, they have wheels on that. That will be good thing for you. And what can be done with PP bags after cultivation? PP bags can be recycled easily. There can be recyclers nearby your area, or you can get online their contact numbers. PP bags can be easily recycled and again converted into PP bags to be reused. Please don't dump or burn it. You have to use it for recycling only, because other than that there is no other option with us. Please connect me with Nepalese buyers, sir. Okay, sure, I will definitely. After the webinar, just let us know. You can contact us. Okay, right now you can switch on your mics. This was end of our webinar. Even still you are having any doubt or further आप कोई भी question पूछना है, you can just one by one switch on your mic if there is any doubt regarding that. But after that we will be closing our
Good
session.
afternoon, sir.
जी sir, good afternoon. बताइए sir.
Sir, actually, we cultivated in a single room, sir. So,
Okay.
initial stage and in the fruiting stage, you told to maintain some different
Hmm.
temperature and process, sir.
Yes.
So, regarding that, I was quite in difficulty.
Okay, sir. Which variety of mushroom you grow?
Oyster, sir.
Oyster mushrooms. Okay, and how much bags you make every day?
Every day, almost 20 bags, sir.
Almost 20 bags. So you are already producing mushroom in the same room and also growing, having uh, your same mushroom bags in that same room.
Yes, sir.
मतलब आप जो है सेम मशरूम को ही अपने ही बैग, तो आप कितने दिन से फार्मिंग कर रहे हैं? हाउ लॉन्ग यू हैव बीन फार्मिंग?
Almost 1 year, sir.
1 year. So you are not experiencing any problem like fly, pest disease, etc.
No, no, sir. Actually, the fly problem is not there.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes one thing I experience that if I make delay to put the bags, so
Mm-hmm.
if I delay there at the time the bag which are put it later on will suffer.
Yeah, that's it. That's the main thing, and that was what actually I was waiting for. The main problem is that with mushroom are if we try to grow it in the same room, suppose uh, what we can do is that in order to avoid this problem, this is happening because of spore load. Because once you are having a mushroom in your one room, na, suppose you are having a single room. Suppose this is our mushroom farm and we are growing mushrooms, suppose oyster mushrooms, and we can hang our bags here and then here and here, and we have to complete this whole cycle within 15 days. Why I say that? Because after 15 or 20 days we will start producing mushroom, having our mushroom. Suppose we delay it so much that on the 25th or 30th day we are hanging it in here in the same room, but this portion will start producing these mushrooms. And what's the main purpose of mushroom is that they produce a lot of spores. Spores are invisible seeds, and they will start contaminating the air. The whole air will be full of spores. And once मैं आप लोगों को बता दूं कि even in the animal kingdom you can see one lion, if it is having some baby, and if another lion comes and it sees it, it try to destroy it. Why? Because they want supremacy. They try to kind of fight for their genetic lineage. Hence it is quite problematic if we try to grow mushrooms in the same room, and in the very same room mushrooms are already producing, and also we are trying to incubate the same, because we need to maintain different kind of temperature. For fruiting we need to increase the temperature, etc. But for incubation we need to have a constant temperature. So that is a problematic thing that will again let your mushrooms get rotten. With the incubation stage, mushrooms bags will get contaminated, or they will produce less mushrooms, or sometimes they will not even produce
Yes, sir.
mushroom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
this is
sometime
the
what
problem.
happens, the mycelium will start dying. We will see white bags are becoming brown again. So a lot of problem will
Mm-hmm.
come in your farm, if because in one portion mushrooms are already there. So what problem you can avoid it by converting the room into half or even smaller. If you can't manage the big room, you can have your room one setup where you just completely fill the mushroom bags and have your harvest, and you just clean another room. And when this room is full, you can just again cultivate in second room. And once that is again full of mushrooms, and you can just clean that, because cleaning of room is again an important thing. If you are only having one room and you want continuous flushing, then how can you clean it? Because in order to clean your farm you need to stop growing mushrooms, and at
No,
least
actually, we actually clean it, sir.
okay.
After one cycle, we clean it. But the thing is, if we want to do that, you told that within 15 days, I need to complete the room, right, sir?
Yeah, if you do that, you will have a lot more mushrooms from that single farm, and that problem will not happen. That is called cross spore loading problem. If
Okay.
you are having one room where already existing mushrooms are fruiting, and you try to make new batches of mushroom bags and put in the same room, that
Mm.
those existing mushroom will try to infect the new bags. This is a
Yes,
common
sir. Yes.
problem, and you have to avoid that. For that you can make multiple
By
rooms or smaller rooms. Okay.
okay, 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 sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Mr. Yes, sir. What's your question?
Hello. Sir, I'm Abhishek from Nepal. I have asked you previous two
Yeah.
questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, you are getting order from Nepal was fresh mushroom or dry mushroom, sir?
Both. We are having orders for fresh as well as dry. Can you supply fresh mushroom also?
Yeah, I can supply adequate fresh mushroom, sir, and also dry mushroom also.
Okay. From which area you belong in from Nepal?
I belong in Lahan, Sirhar district of Lahan of Sirhar district.
Nahan. Okay, okay. Then you just share your complete location address with us in the WhatsApp. Okay,
Yeah.
so whoever are the customers available with us from Nepal side, we will connect them with you and you can discuss with them regarding your market opportunity. Definitely, you will be able to supply a fresh mushroom as well.
Yeah. And sir,
Okay.
one more question. Sir, they require sun-dried mushroom or oven-dried mushroom. What types
Uh,
of mushroom are demanded
mo-
highly?
Sun-dried are often in high demand, but if there is a rain, then you can also use dryer also. But sun-dry mushroom is in high demand. No problem with sun-dry.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Okay, next question, Mr. Jagat. Yes, what's your
जी
question,
जी
sir?
जी सर, मैं वही लिखा था कि 26 दिन हो गए हैं वो
हाँ हाँ
एस्टर
हाँ,
मशरूम है।
पोस्टर है ना।
तो
आप
जी
आपने सर उसमें पानी स्प्रे करना शुरू कर दिया?
जी, मैं 20 दिन बाद ही पानी स्प्रे करना चालू कर दिया हूँ,
हाँ हाँ।
क्योंकि मैं चौथी बार लगाया हूँ, फर्स्ट बार नहीं है। तो
ओके।
20 दिन में तो आ जाता था, इस बार नहीं आया, तो मैं वही देख रहा हूँ।
अच्छा
इस
अच्छा।
बार मैं आपके यहाँ से बीज मंगाया हूँ, पहली बार तो मैं इंदौर से
हाँ।
मंगाता हूँ, मैं
अच्छा अच्छा।
एमपी से हूँ।
बैग आपका व्हाइट हो चुका है ना?
एकदम माइसिलियम फुल रन हो गया
ओके,
है।
कोई बात नहीं, आपका आ जाएगा। क्या होता है ना, जो ऑयस्टर मशरूम्स होते हैं लगभग 20 से 25 दिन में आते हैं। कई बार थोड़ा जल्दी आ जाते हैं विंटर में, और कई बार जैसे गर्मी आने लगती है, टेम्परेचर चेंज होता है, थोड़ा टाइम लगता है। अब ऑक्सीजन तो जरूर आ रहा है ना, फ्रेश एयर तो आ रहा होगा फार्म में?
हाँ हाँ, सुबह
ठीक
शाम
है,
दरवाजे खोल देता हूँ, मतलब रूम में है वो।
बस बस आप उसको खोल के रखिए। सुबह के दिन पूरा खोल के रखिए, 3
हाँ
से
हाँ
4 5 6 घंटा खोल के रखिए, और 2 3 दिन में आ जाएगा। फिर भी नहीं आता है तो आप एक बार हमें कॉल या व्हाट्सएप कीजिएगा, पर आ जाएगा, आप निश्चिंत रहिए।
हाँ, वही मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया कि
हाँ हाँ, हो जाता है, कई बार लेट होता है, बट आएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। मशरूम का
हाँ
बैग व्हाइट होना मेन इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर बैग
हाँ।
व्हाइट हो चुका है तो अब कोई चिंता की दिक्कत नहीं है, क्योंकि आपका वेजिटेटिव ग्रोथ तो कंप्लीट हो
अच्छा,
गया, फ्रूटिंग
टेम्परेचर
आएगा।
सर कितना है ना? अभी तक 25-26 दिन में है, शाम
हम्म,
रात में तो 20 हो जाता है।
बस बस ठीक है एकदम। ये टेम्परेचर नेचुरली ठीक है, अभी कुछ भी नहीं करना है। बस आप जैसा कर रहे हैं ऐसा ही कीजिए, 2 3 दिन में निकल जाएगा।
हेलो
Hello.
जी सर, जी
हेलो
बताइए। जी जी बताइए।
हेलो
यस सर।
गुड इवनिंग डॉक्टर जीती जी
गुड इवनिंग, गुड इवनिंग।
Good evening. Let me have a brief introduction of mine. My name is Vikas Paul, and I am from Siliguri, Bagdogra. And
ओके सर।
present, I'm ex-Navy and presently serving at Bank of India. And recently,
ओके
couple of days back, I had a training of this mushroom cultivation technology from ICAR, Directorate
ओके
of Mushroom Research. So I did the training, and after training, I thought of setting up my own farm regarding this button mushroom. So when I came from training, I found that there are some terms and conditions I think we need to follow regarding this butter mushroom, because you need to prepare your compost yard and all those things. It should be away from the municipal areas or something like that. But there's some sort of obstacle I found. So what could you suggest from your side regarding this? I have 11 kattha of land.
ओके।
So shall I continue with this button mushroom or oyster mushroom? Some sort of like
Okay,
suggestions,
so
please.
you're totally new to mushroom cultivation, na? You haven't
No, no, no,
cultivated
no.
it?
I have been growing this mushroom for the last 2 3 years. Oyster mushroom I did grow,
Okay,
and
okay,
after that
okay,
I marketed it also, and not properly in a holistic way, but a little bit I marketed it. But
okay.
still, there is a problem for the marketing part as well. So that's why I need to connect with you people as well, so that we can collaborate and have a marketing. This should be clear
Sure,
from my
sure,
side. So
sure,
this is the
sure.
problem.
There won't be any problem for oyster mushroom marketing or button also. If you are having any difficulty in selling a product, you can let us know. And in order to produce button mushrooms, first of all, you are not having any problem with technology, na? You have already understood the technology of it.
Yeah, of
So,
course. Yeah, I have understood the technology.
okay,
Mhm.
but in order to grow them, why it's said that to keep it away from municipality area is that because it produces a lot of foul odor. The urea will produce a lot of gas from it. So is it in between? It's a crowded area where you can't just produce it, or
Because when earlier I have purchased that land, that time it was only in means a proper place. No,
okay,
the
okay.
residential areas were there. But right now that buildings were starting construction, all those things. So, so
That can be a problem, sir.
that can be a problem. And about to start this one, but
Yeah.
I think there may be a problem. But anyhow, I can continue with this oyster mushroom and rest of the mushrooms that you just
Yeah,
now.
as you have already understood about the
Yes.
button mushroom, so there won't be any problem for setting up any high-tech environmental farm, if you just add that, or and you can shift your button mushroom composting yard somewhere further in the rural
Mm,
backward area, then again it can be
mm,
done. Or also you can use your existing button farm which you will be installing, which is having all the controlling setup. You can use it for growing varieties of different mushroom like shiitake, lion's mane,
mm.
and those
Okay.
varieties of mushrooms are again in high demand. And just like
Mm,
button mushroom, they are also very profitable. And also similarly,
mm,
the oyster mushrooms, if you can grow them in unseasoned time using your
mm.
controller in your Siliguri area, also there will be huge demand and good price you
Okay.
can get from them, because during summertime they will be not be easily available also. So
So for marketing, there won't be any issue, I think.
no, no, there won't be any issue. There are good market and quite high demand. Just
Okay.
after webinar, if you need any detail for marketing, let us know. We will resolve it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
sir.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Okay, sir.
Hello,
Mr.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
Sir, actually, I want to say one thing that if we use paddy straw,
Mhm.
should we be able to use paddy straw which is in that is collected recently, or we need to use older one, sir?
Okay, if you want to use older one, there won't be any problem, because it has been completely dried. But if there is some problem with old stock and you just have only the recent stock, then what you can do is that just put it in an area which is having completely sun coverage and dry it for at least 2 to 3 weeks continuously in the sun.
Okay.
And when the
Okay.
color of it completely changes into golden, then there won't be any
Hmm.
problem. The problem with farmers
Okay.
is that they stock it in a heap wise manner, and there is
Mhm.
no sunlight exposure, hence we need to make it older
Mhm.
for around 6 months or
Mhm.
more. But if you just try to sun dry it, if you want to use regular newly grown stocks, then
Mhm.
definitely you can use. There's no problem with using new paddy straw, but it needs to be 100% dry. That's the only criteria.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, what is the efficiency of chemical method compared to the heat method, sir?
Suppose chemical method is around 90% efficient, and the heat method will be around 98% efficient.
Okay, sir. And one more thing, sir. If we, as you told a few minutes earlier, that
Mhm.
they need to be cultivated into separate rooms. Okay, sir. For initial stage and for fruiting stage.
Yes.
So, after, so if I prepare, sir, say 15 to 20 bags a day, so and keep in the same room. So after how many days I need to clean the room, sir?
Okay, so your question was, so after how many days you need to clean the rooms if you are keeping it in separate rooms?
Yes, separate rooms, sir. Initially, say in a room for initial stage for 15 days to 20 days, and thereafter uh, to another room, say for fruiting stage.
Okay, okay. In that way, you just need to clean the fruiting stage room after every cycle, but the incubation room, which will be separate, where you will need to, you won't need to clean it again and again. Once even in a year will be fine, because the mushrooms will not grow in that first room. And
Yes,
why we
yes.
need to clean it? Only because mushrooms start growing and it produces and ejects a lot of spores, and spores are the only reason because of which contaminations comes. So if you are separating both the thing like fruiting and incubation, that will be an excellent thing. Your fruiting capacity will increase, and you just need to clean your fruiting room again and again, and your incubation will be continuous. You just don't need to, you can clean it without even emptying the room. You can spray bleaching powder in the floor, you can wash your wall with bleaching solution, but you don't need to remove the bags or anything. You can
Okay, sir.
continuously.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Okay,
sir.
but
And okay, sir. And one thing
Mhm.
is that what you told, I am feeling that that is applicable to me. That
Mhm.
due to your air circulation and your humidity problem, temperature is not a problem. I am suffering during the fruiting stage because it is becoming eventually the white, but thereafter it suffers in fruit.
Yeah,
That is,
yeah.
it doesn't release the spawn. Sorry, the
Sport.
mycelium grows
Exactly,
after it
exactly,
becomes white. So,
exactly.
so for air circulation, so what can I do, sir? Can I use 50% shade net in all the side for fruiting room?
Yeah, Yes. That will be great. 50% is sufficient. It will
And
allow good air exchange.
yes. Okay, sir. And for your that is and for your sir initial stage room, can we use some what we call চটের যে বস্তা আছে বেঙ্গল
Yes,
যে
yes,
যেটাকে বলে that
yes.
one for initial fruiting stage so
Yeah.
that will remain somehow dark and we can easily maintain the temperature also below 30 degree.
Exactly. You can use the jute bags to hang all around your footing room also, and you can wet them. That will be using as a cooler because the wet uh, bags are of jute are quite good. They keep the farm cool and also they increase the humidity. And when the air will circulate through that, they will keep the air temperature quite low. That will decrease the room temperature as well. That's a good way you can do
So
that.
so for fruiting room we can use the shade net and for initial stage we can use the jute bags, right sir?
Yes. Also in fruiting room, you can use the shade net as well as fruiting, as well as jute bags at some areas in order to keep the
Okay, so
temperature low.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. I hope it helps. Okay. Okay, Mr. Ranjan asked that how much investment is needed to start a butter mushroom farm in area, around 500 to 1000. It will be upward of around 20 lakh rupees, upward of 20 lakh. Because you will need to set up a lot of things like harvesting yard, composting yard, and high-tech farm rooms. Otherwise, you won't be able to grow throughout. But if you are trying to grow button mushroom only during the seasonal times in the winter, you can start with 50,000 investment as well. Okay, if there is any further question, yes, you can speak, Mr.
Uh,
Ashir.
hi,
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
yeah, hi. I just have one question regarding the shade net. Okay, so you just mentioned 50%.
Yeah.
I somewhere read that like if the direct air it goes through the room, it dries up the mushroom. So don't you think a 90% shade net will be better than a 50% shade net?
Uh, Actually, it depends upon person's farm to farm location. If someone's farm is located in an area which is not having enough air exchange and the mushrooms are becoming very elongated, your mushrooms will tell itself what's the situation. If mushrooms you are seeing is like in elongated shape and not in proper way it is growing, then you will have to decrease it. 90% sometimes become too harsh, and the air exchange is not quite well because inside mushroom bags produce a lot of CO2 and they are not able to exchange the form. In that scenario, you need to decrease it to around 85%, sometimes 70%. And if somebody is capable enough of maintaining humidity, because yeah, definitely if you are using a lower capacity of shed net, then it will increase the airflow and that will decrease the humidity level. Then you need to give it more water. Your farm must have jute bags and you can have your sprinklers installed in it so that it can maintain sufficient humidity. If the mushroom farm is having sufficient air exchange as well as sufficient humidity, the fruiting production will be great. But if the farm is having everything all right, but air exchange is not there, mushroom won't come out. As much as humidity you may give, but fruiting will need a lot of oxygen, especially oyster mushrooms and these varieties needs a lot of oxygen during the fruiting stage. So that's the balance we have to maintain. So it will depend upon person to person. There's no hard and fast rule. There are people who are able to grow mushrooms even in open space without any shed net, but definitely they have to water a lot more. So whatever works better for you, you can go for it. There's no rule for 90% or 70%, 50%. It will depend person to person.
Hello sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
sir, actually, the process of cleaning the room after one cycle, I know I have discussed with your company earlier also. But can you tell me, sir, how much gap is required after one cycle to another cycle? Because every day we do not spray it, okay, using the formalin and all whatever we use. But how many days gap between one cycle to another cycle is required for
Okay.
fruiting stage room?
Okay. At least you can maintain around 4 to 5 days to 7 days. That will be enough. But in order to do that, you have to cover the farm completely using plastic. You can completely cover it and you can fumigate it. first stage you can do is you can mix 10% bleaching powder and thoroughly wash your farm. You can also use fungicide like Bevestin, Indophil, etc. in order to spray thoroughly and wash the rope and wall, whatever is there inside the farm, because you have to disinfect the surface. After the stage of surface cleaning, you have to fumigate to disinfect the air. And to do that, you have to submerge the cotton balls. You can make cotton balls and dip it inside formalin and throw it inside the farm, several balls, and close the farm for 24 to 48 hours. Now the gas won't be able to escape, and it will be contained inside the farm, and it will clean and disinfect the farm. So in that manner, after you open up the plastic, the air will thoroughly go out, and within 7 days, the air will come into its normal position. After that, you can enter the room, and the farm will be sufficiently clean enough for next cycle.
Sir, if the room is only shaded, if I keep the room as it is, sir, without use, I don't use the plastic in such case, sir.
Okay, then first of all, you need to put formalin inside it for first 4 days, and then again refumigate it. Then at least fumigate it for two times, okay, so that it is sufficient. Because
Okay.
shed net will release the gas very easily, so do it 2 to 3 times. Then it will be
Okay,
again same.
Okay.
There
So
won't be
you
any problem.
suggest, to keep the environment
Hello.
that is wherever shed net is there.
Yeah.
On the top of the beyond the shed net, I can use some polythene, so that it become a closed environment, and then we can do that, sir.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. In such case, 7 days is sufficient.
7 days is sufficient.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
Okay, welcome. So now we are going to end our session, and within 48 hours you will get your ebooks, and further whatever details and whatever support you need, we are always here. BM Mushroom is always there to serve you. Just call us, and I hope this webinar helped you in the poll session. You can also rate us. Above the Q&A session, there was a poll option, and you can rate us from 1 to 10 according to your satisfaction level. And I hope to see you again. And it was a nice interaction with all of you. And let's keep on cultivating mushroom, learning from each other, and grow together. Happy mushrooming. Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for this wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a great day, sir.
Same to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
As I'm residing nearby you, I think very soon we'll be going to meet each other.
Most welcome, sir. Most welcome. That will be
We
great.
I already had a discussion with your guy, that Amit Biswas.
Yes.
So let's see.
Sure, sir. Most welcome, sir. Okay.
We'll have an in-person meeting.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.